Hi everyone, in this video we're going to be comparing linear functions. So what are the linear function's key features and how do they differ from the parent function? So a quick review, how do we know if a graph is linear? Well, it's going to look like a straight line. So it's going to be a line. How do we know if an equation is linear? We look for the x to have an exponent of 1. What is the linear parent function equation? That is y equals x. Remember, we don't like to write the 1 as an exponent, but you can write it in. Those are the same thing. Y equals mx plus b. So what does the m represent? That is our slope. And b is our y-intercept. What is an x-intercept? Well, what is another word for an x-intercept? That is 0. But an x-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis. Okay, what is another name for an x-intercept? There we go. Okay, we have two other names. 0 is the most common one, and we also have solution. And what is a y-intercept? Where the function crosses the y-axis. So looking at the linear parent function, its graph below, we know the equation is y equals x. It's important to know, you need to know that. The slope of it, okay, well in front of the x is a number 1, so the slope is 1. It is going up from left to right, up, which means we have a positive slope. Okay, since it's a positive slope, that means it is increasing. The b, remember b is our y-intercept. Its y-intercept is at 0, 0. Its x-intercept or 0 is also at 0, 0. The domain, it's going to keep going from left to right. Remember, our domains are x values. So it's going to keep going from the left to the right. So it's going to be all real numbers. And the range is our y values. It's going all the way down and all the way up forever and ever. So it's also all real numbers. Okay, so that is the linear parent function. Now taking a look at a different linear function to see how it's similar and how it differs. So the equation is a negative 5/4 x plus 5. The slope m, remember our slope is the number in front of x, so our slope is a negative 5/4. That tells us we have a negative slope. And if we look at the graph, it is going down from left to right. Since it's a negative slope, that means that it's also a decreasing function because it is also going down from left to right. The y-intercept, well, there's two things we can look at for the y-intercept. If we look at where it crosses the y-axis, it crosses it at 5. Or if we look at the equation, it crosses at 5 as well. So the y-intercept is 5. The x-intercept or 0, where does it cross the x-axis? It's crossing at positive 4. If we wanted to write these as proper points, it would be 4, 0. And the y-intercept would be 0, 5. The domain, it's going to keep going to to the left forever. It's going to keep going to the right forever. So this is also all real numbers. The range is always going to be going down and up forever and ever. So its range is also all real numbers. So what I want you to go ahead and do is pause the video and try the back side on your own and see how you do. So hopefully you paused the video and gave it a shot. So the slope is a -3/4. It is a negative slope, which means it's decreasing. The y-intercept is 6, but it's also crossing the y-axis at 6, so either way you want to look at it. The x-intercept is 8, so 8, 0. The domain, again, all linear functions are all real numbers. Looking at the next linear function, we have y equals 2/3 x minus 2. My slope is a positive 2/3. It is a positive slope. If you're looking at the graph, it's going up from left to right, which means that it's increasing. Okay, the y-intercept is -2. If you look at the graph, it's also crossing at -2. The x-intercept, or 0, it's crossing the x-axis at +3. And again, all linear functions, domain and range, are all real numbers. There are some special cases, but we haven't got to those yet. Okay, last one. We have y equals 2x plus 4. Our slope is 2, which is positive. It is an increasing function. Again, it's going up from left to right, which means it's positive and increasing. The y-intercept, you can look at the equation or at the graph. Both of them are 4. They should always be the same. The x-intercept is crossing, or the 0 is crossing at -2. And our domain is all real numbers. So looking at the summary, the linear parent function is y equals x. I know a graph is a linear function because it makes a straight line. The domain and range of all linear functions is all real numbers, unless it's a special case, but when we get to those, we'll show you. So a positive slope in an increasing linear function is going to look like this. So we're going to draw a little picture, and it's going to just be going up from left to right. So right there. A negative slope in a decreasing linear function is going to look like, again, drawing a picture, something like this, going down from left to right. Okay, so hopefully this helped you remember some of the linear key features. If you have any questions, make sure you make a note of them and you ask your teacher.